The matchup on Friday night for Altavista is Central Lunenburg. Matt DeLoach spoke with me on Thursday to talk about what to expect out of Central Lunenburg when they come in to Altavista on Friday night. You can hear the game on 105.5 KD Country. Altavista gets things kicked off against Central Lunenburg, talking to the head coach of the Colonels, Coach Matt DeLoach. Besides a win, what do you want to see in a first game?
Well, these past, couple years, the standard of our program has, become one of just intensity, grit, never quitting. In our JV, they're going to be the guys that are going to be the main guys this year. We graduated 18 seniors. Any school, that's pretty tough. I want them to carry, the success that they had, in their JV season, into the varsity, carrying on, a legacy that some of these older guys, built these last couple of years. It's going to be tough. Central Lunenburg's tough. It's physical football, but, so are we. And I think it's going to be a pretty solid game.
What worries you more? You haven't seen these guys play so far. They haven't played so far, or B, the fact that guys are going from Thursday to Friday, which is a big deal, JV to varsity.
Yeah, that's huge. It was kind of a double-edged, that could have happened in these past scrimmages. That's part of the game if it does happen. But also, not being game ready. Yeah, just like you said. We've got older guys that have been here before. They've been, on the success of these past couple seasons. So, obviously they know what it takes. But no, it's going to be different from, kind of banging on each other. And then all of a sudden a physical team comes into town. It's going to take something a little bit different, than what we had these past couple of years.
Game one, how much do you want to see effort be there more than anything?
Well, that's pretty much, who I am anyway. Effort, it's, these past couple days in practice, actually past couple weeks, when the guys, kind of understood, hey, we're not getting a scrimmage, nobody's picking us up. I think they are definitely hungry. It's hard to, constantly just hit, each other, and never have kind of a buffer when it comes to another team that you're playing. Yeah, effort plays a big part in me, when everything that we do. So, I think execution, more so with what the standard that we put in place, the simplicity of our game, both on offense and defense, I think is going to help these guys perform at their best.
Extremely stupid question from me. Is one quarter more important than another in your eyes?
Yeah, I think, these next couple weeks that we're going to have, obviously we are a physical team. I think I would imagine teams are saying the same thing about us. Don't let them punch you in the mouth. So I think, it sets the tone, especially, since we haven't had any scrimmages. That first quarter now is going to be the most important one. We're going to see how they respond to the adversity of not having a scrimmage, and also the adversity of having a tough opponent, week one. So that first quarter is going to be pretty monumental tomorrow night.
How much does the third quarter worry you? In fact, you have to sit for 10, 15 minutes of halftime, then kind of almost restart yourselves. How big of a deal is it to resume your intensity and your effort after sitting for 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah, we're pretty good at adjusting to what teams, are trying to do to us. The one thing that we'll struggle with a little bit is what you said, is, kind of getting back to where we need to be. The momentum that we had in the first half, can we carry it into the second half? We condition our guys, we do it in the weight room as well. So they should be, their bodies should be built ready to take that adjustment. But once you get into the game, kind of what Coach Harless said, once the bullets are flying, it changes a little bit. So we'll see.
Final thing, and you said one thing I really loved about being punched in the mouth. Well, I think everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth themselves. Do you feel like you guys are ready to punch back? And if you get punched in the mouth, why do you feel like you are ready to punch back?
Yeah, Mike Tyson. I think a lot of these guys, especially if you know this area, they play with a chip, on their shoulder. They really do. That's why I think the brand of football that we brought in, works so well, just because it highlighted the things that they do well the most. And that is, play fast, play aggressive, play with passion. Um, and, having Lunenburg, the style that they play, like I said, it's similar styles. There's really no contrast. Um, so we see it, day in and day out of practice. We've got one of the best defensive lines in the area, to be honest with you. And our offensive line has to go against that, anytime we go defense. So I think, we always say, if you remember the movie Cinderella Man,
Yep.
when he got punched and he smiled back with blood in his mouth. I mean, that's the style that we got to, come back with.
That was Matt DeLoach. Hopefully we'll hear from DeLoach, the rest of the Colonels, and more all year long. This is the Sports Buffet Podcast. My name is Bob Alvis.